With the ending of Haikyuu on July 20th of 2020, I had this hole left in me after I finished reading the final chapter. I thought about picking up ISO 21 or Slam Dunk, but for some reason I wanted to find a new sports manga to fill that hole. And to my luck, I found it. This manga not only filled my needs, but it far surpassed it, being one of the most intense, high energy, and dynamic manga I've read. What is this manga, you ask? It's called Blue Lock.
潔、ビビってんの？
ガセン燃えてきた。俺が世界一になる。俺は俺のゴールで勝ちたい。ブルーロック。
As you can tell now, Blue Lock is a sports manga that revolves around soccer. Or football, cause I know there's gonna be that one person in the comments going, "Oh, you idiot American, it's called football everywhere else," and blah 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 blah. Anyway, how I like to describe Blue Lock is that if you take the art from ISO 21, then add in the realism from Haikyuu, with a little sprinkling of the powers from Kuroko no Basketball, mix it all together, and boom, you got Blue Lock. Now, I've never seen or even heard this manga before, but then again, I'm a pretty big novice when it comes to manga. However, even one of my friends who reads a lot of manga didn't know about Blue Lock, so I feel somewhat vindicated. What's weirder though is how I discovered Blue Lock. I discovered Blue Lock from Instagram of all places. One day I was just scrolling in my Explore tab and then there's this one post that was just a bunch of manga panels from Blue Lock, and I was like, God damn, look at that art. I gotta check out this manga. Then after binging every chapter that was out, I was completely hooked. And I'm here just like, why is no one talking about this manga? Okay, as much as I want to talk about what happens in the manga, I will try my very best to have most of this video to be spoiler free. So what makes Blue Lock so special? Well, first of all, this is the first time I've seen a manga or an anime about soccer that's actually interesting. Like, Captain Tsubasa is for literal 10-year-old, Days was just average, Clean Freak Aoyama was weird, and there's a ton more mid-tier shows that I don't care to list off. However, for Blue Lock, the plot itself isn't something you would expect from a sports manga. Within the first few chapters, we are shown that Japan sucks at soccer, and something needs to be changed if we want to win the World Cup. With our main protagonist Yoichi Isagi, the way we were first introduced to him, we see him lose the final game to go to Nationals, all because the teammate he passed to failed to get the goal to tie up the game. He regrets doing that pass and thinks if he took the shot, would he have made it? However, to his luck, he was still invited to participate in the player improvement project called Blue Lock. With Blue Lock, it's basically where 300 people are put into teams and are placed into this facility to eat, sleep, train, and battle it out to have only one person to stand at the very top to become the world's greatest striker. And here's the kicker, anyone who gets eliminated from this program is literally banned from joining the Japanese national team, so their chances of going pro becomes close to zero now. Just from that, you can tell that this manga is not your typical sports series. The stakes are extremely high and there is no room for error here. If you get eliminated, your hopes and dreams are done. So many sports series show the importance of winning nationals or even just going to nationals. But with Blue Lock, they showed us that nationals mean nothing to us now. Having Isagi losing the game to go to nationals and building this very typical theming you see in most sports series, then immediately breaking it down and showing us that he was crying over something that wasn't that important. And that was baby stuff compared to what we're faced off with now. Cause now, we're entering into the big leagues, and we're aiming to win the most well-known tournament in the world, the World Cup. This to me is such a breath of fresh air. The plot takes everything that's great about a sports series and adds this twist that makes the stakes as high as possible. This makes every match so intense, such high energy, and it keeps me on the edge of my seat, because every player knows that everything is on the line, causing everyone to put 100% or more in every game. And let me tell you, there were so many hype moments that I've honestly lost track of how many there are. Now, there's one more aspect from the plot I absolutely love, and it's that even though you have to work together with your teammates to win matches, at the end of the day, they are also your enemy. Remember, only one person is able to come out on top. This interesting dichotomy creates this really unique environment where everyone is on edge because they all know at some point they will have to face against each other, or even worse, someone might backstab a teammate to get ahead. This underlying tension makes even the moments outside of games interesting. You start learning all about these teammates' backgrounds and you go like, damn it, I like this person now. I don't want him to go. But when the time comes, you have to put all that aside and put yourself first. This also ties into the theming of the manga. Unlike most sports series where the theming is about teamwork and believing in your friends you made along the way. Nah, get that kiddie stuff out of here. In Blue Lock, you have to get rid of this mentality of playing for your teammates, but instead, you have to become an egotistical player and basically say, get the f out of my way, cause I'm the best striker here. I love this so much, and this to me is way more intriguing than what you normally see from a sports series. Not only that, but they were able to back it up by saying some of the best strikers in history like Noel Noah, Eric Cantona, and Pele, they were egotistical players as well. So if we look back to the game where Isaga was playing for Nationals, the only reason he passed was because his mentality was that soccer was a game played with teams of 11. And if he just played it like an egotistical striker, he probably would have tied up the game. This quote from Blue Lock sums up what I've been talking about so perfectly. You will not become the greatest striker in the world unless you have the ego to match. All of this is told within 2 chapters, and they set everything up so well. From the characters, the goal, the plot, the theming of the manga, it created this outstanding work of fiction that I couldn't put down. Okay, moving on from that, the final thing I want to talk about to convince you guys is that the art and the panel work in this manga is god tier. Like all the panels I've been showing you guys, if you think that looks crazy good, it is nothing compared to what you see later on in the manga. Legitimately every time someone scores a goal, you get a work of art. There is so much goddamn detail in the art and the imagery looks so great. I'm actually questioning how the artist Nomura Yusuke is able to draw a new chapter every week. Now, getting to the panel work, this is something that is extremely important. It's one thing to have the panels in a complementary configuration, but I really appreciate that Blue Lock went the extra mile by not only having these well done panels that give off a good flow, they have the characters or even the ball going outside the manga panels to help really convey the movement, the impact, the action, and even the energy of the play. This is a really simple thing, but the effect it gives off works incredibly well. They also make sure to give proper space to the moments that matter the most. I mean, look at One Piece's manga now. It's crowded so much with these smaller panels to cram in as much story as possible. It doesn't allow for certain moments to have the same impact compared to what it was back then. As much as I love One Piece, the panel work it has evolved into has really disappointed me. However, for Blue Lock, they have these amazing works of art spanning across 2 pages so often. With everything I've now talked about all put together, can you see why I think this is one of the best sports manga out there? There's not many manga that can compare to it, and without fail, Blue Lock gets me hyped up so much. Every week when there's a new chapter that comes out, I get really excited to read it. Also, if this manga gets an anime adaptation that's animated by Studio Bones or maybe even Mappa, then I would actually lose my shit. So please stop sleeping on Blue Lock. If you're a fan of sports manga and anime, then you will not regret reading Blue Lock one bit.